Okay, so this is Steve Melendrez, artist slash teacher. Used to work for the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles for almost 15 years, did a lot of different things. This is actually the second part of the Gettysburg project for my fellow art teachers and history teachers, because there's a lot of history in that. And again, that's what I like to bring into my classrooms is science, biology, math, history, whatever, and art. I do a lot of lectures in class. Matter of fact, there's a list of maybe 50 or 60 subjects that I go on, and sometimes I do those, and sometimes it's a lot of other things. Anyway, so the first part of this Gettysburg project was the lectures, and there's a whole bunch of lectures, and I could do more lectures, but I gave you just kind of an idea of the lectures. This part is going to be doing the techniques for some of those projects. So anyway. Okay, sorry about the glare. But this is a simplified version of the Lincoln that I would be doing with my sixth graders. Now, when I do these, I give them a Xerox copy of the outline I did, and then their job is to darken the back of the Xerox sheet I gave them and go over the simple lines and transfer it over onto a white piece of paper. Now, when I do this, I put two staples on the Xerox copy and the paper that they're working on, because they'll move it around. Anyway, basically this is doing the shapes in the right location to give the indication of that person. Let me see if I... Okay, so this is the General Meade. Now this is a pencil version. Now I do also, because I was having to be online, I given them kind of the same Xerox copy. So they would be using Google Drawings. It's a very simplistic drawing program, and it has colors. So it gives them everybody's equal. They all have, thousands of colors they can use from. They have a lot of tools, simple tools. Now, but they are in the right spot, and obviously it looks like General. This is the Harriet Tubman. Of course, I give the lecture on her. But if you look at this thing, there is no detail. It's just the shadows of the person, but those shadows are in exactly the right spot. Now I do this kind of with, for my students, but this again is another darken the back and transfer it over. And now we were doing it kind of online. Okay, so this is the same technique as the General Meade and Lee. Now this is one of my students, and it's the same technique, but I had them do it. So they took a photograph of themselves, and then they followed the exact outline of themselves, and it would look exactly like them if they followed my instructions on how to do this. Now I'm going to probably switch out to another, and that same technique, only they took a photograph of themselves. And of course, if you look at this person, they're following exact same shapes. Now, the way I explain this to my students is we have billions of people on this planet, and we all look different, but we have things in exactly the same spot. I mean, our eyes are not in our cheeks or on top of our forehead. We have a gap between both eyes, and that's kind of a measured thing, with a nose and two nostrils, hopefully, two lips, got a chin, eyes, we don't have on the side of their head. We have two ears, the forehead, eyebrows, and the gaps in there. But if we move it just a pencil line this way, this way, this way, this way, we become different people. So we are a pencil line different from somebody, because everything is in still the same location. It's just adjusted in just a small way to make us different. Okay, so this is the Confederate flag we'd be doing if they selected the South. And I'll show you how to do the reflections on the pole and the wave to make it look like it's flowing in the wind. Now I have kind of different versions. Obviously, some of the sixth graders, they won't be able to do the curvature. Now, if they're older, I'll show them how to do the curvature of the stripes going in the same direction as the flag. You can let them do their own stars, but because they're still kind of young and have trouble, I usually make a Xerox copy of different size stars and let them darken the back and put them in the right. The same thing. Now, obviously, they have way too many stars, and sometimes I try to explain to them how many stars there are. But, you know, sometimes they just like to make stars. So I'll tell you how to do the reflection, and I show them how to make the connection so the flag is not just floating in space. This is done really well. They have some shading in here. Here's the one for the flag, that what it looked like, well, kind of what it looked like, for the North. Same technique with the pole and trying to connect. Now I do more loops, but anyway, so this is kind of, and I'm trying to make them understand the, you know, where the stars are at. And I guess this would be too small. So okay, so this is kind of the way it should look. So, you know, technically there should be 1, 3, 5, and 7, and then it should do the same thing on the other side, 5, 3, 1. Anyway, so again, this one's really nice because it has a reflection, and sometimes advanced students, I will show them how to do the shimmering of the flag. They didn't do the loops in here, but my room. Now, this is where we have our paper fight. If you look right here, there's a chair right there. There's one on the far side, and then there's another one down here. Now, I purposely put them there, and there's a string attached. And there's one over there. Now, I do that on purpose. This is a safety issue. I don't want students rushing in because of these things here. So I explain to them, I don't really tell them about the safety issue. I kind of let them know that they can't touch that wire. If they just get close to it and touch it, they're out. So they try to prevent from themselves from touching that wire. Now, I switch these this way because if you turn it the other way and the legs are pointing towards them, they get really excited about having a war. And if they get too excited and they're trying to hide or duck, they're going to hit those things. So this is a very important point. Have them out there, put a barrier with a little string so they can't go. Now, the North is hidden here, behind here, and I'll show some other pictures here. The South can fight from all this direction and all the way this way. Now, it's set up in a J position, just like the Battle of Gettysburg. But the way I have this set up is they have to move all the chairs and the tables over there. They can't hide behind those tables. They can't hide in the corners. They are out in the open. That is their advantage of being able to move around the room and dodge things. That's their advantage. Their disadvantage is they have no cover. Now, these people have the advantage of protection, but their disadvantage is they can't go anywhere. They can't go to the other room and grab ammunition. They are stuck in that little J position. Okay, so so you can see, I mean, they have a blast in this project. And this is the last thing I do. So maybe that's a good thing. So, okay, you can see them. They're just, and here's another thing. Paper. Now, I usually just give them a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet, but I cut it in half. So there's the little, paper balls are smaller. So, just to avoid, a big piece of paper hitting somebody. It's a safety issue. That's, okay. So this is the setup for, the North. And you can see they're hiding behind this, but they can't go to the other room. So they're stuck in this little area. And, so that's the way I have this set up for the battle. And I give them a lot of papers and a lot of ammunition. And then if it's like all the ammunition is spent and they can't, fire, I kind of throw a truce out there and say, okay, everybody, you have 1 minute to gather up as much ammunition and come back. And then I count it down. So that's the way the war works. Okay, so this is the flag part. Now, I'm going to try to be as fast as possible because I don't want to waste your time. Now, usually, on another video, I show you three different ways to make a circle using your hands, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the fast, quick method. I'm going to just select the round thing and just go around it for speed. And I don't have the room to spin the paper, so hopefully you'll get the idea. Usually I make them a little bit bigger, but I'm just going to get a ruler, come down. Okay, so that's how I start off. Now we do a practice in the back because the backwards S is really hard for them to understand. So I'm going to show you how to do this shading. Bear with me. I'm trying to go as fast as possible because I don't want to. So I'm doing kind of a smiley face, and of course I could go further in detail depending on the grade level or some advanced students. So I'm kind of just leaving a little bit of light on both sides. We usually just grab a piece of paper, tissue or whatever, and then I'll just do kind of follow the shape of the circular thing to make it look round. And so that's how easy it is. Now, like I said, we do the practice of this flag, but I've done it so, and it doesn't matter where you put the S. It could be in front, it could be in the middle, it could be in the end. So basically what I want to do is just do that. This is a straight line. I'm not going to use a ruler because we don't have time for that. So, but the way I do this is I measure out, and I could do this with centimeters so that it has the right stripes, for the 13 and all that stuff. But for speed, I'm just going to go to 6 inches. I'm going to go on the very outer edge of this and make this 6 inches. I'm going to go to the outer edge of this and make 6 inches. So now I know that this is all the same size. Now, I could kind of look at this and I'll do this. So I can see this and I can do that to match that. Some students can't do that. So what I do here is I'll put this on that line and I'll make a dot where 6 inches, and I move it down, put on that line here, move it down 6 inches. And depending on the grade level, you can have them do, multiple dots. I'm just kind of doing the fast version. So I know that this is all 6 and it's matching up with this. So that's the way I would do the flag. Now, for some young students, I could show them the curvature here for the stripes for the Confederate flag, but most students don't get that. So I just have them use the ruler. And this saves a lot of time and they feel better about what it looks like. So if I just go on this side of the ruler and this side of the ruler for the X part of the Confederate flag, and they're going to do the stars. Now, there's going to be an X right here. So I kind of leave a little spot here, and this is kind of helps them, because trying to do this thing in a curvature is very difficult for young people. So I kind of help them out with that. So I'll just do this side and then this side. Now, technically, it should have another X here. So I'm just going to do, so you may not see that part. You may see a little teeny little piece right there for the other side. Anyway. So that's, I know I'm trying to do it fast, but it should line up straight with this one, and it should be straight on there. You could actually do it this way then. I just didn't think it was going to match up with the lines. Yep, that looks better. And of course, I would erase these things and this part too. Now, the way this would work is if it's a real Confederate flag, there would be one large star in the middle, and then there would be 3 over here, 3 over here, 3 on this side, 3 on this side. That's the way it should look. And there is a little white border, if you remember from the video, and I try to make sure they understand that, on the side. And that's going to go all the way around, that little border. And I'm going to show you how to do, so you should know how to do that. The loop. So what I do is I have them kind of do several circles. This will make it look so that the flag is not floating. So I go out and come back into that hole. Again, I follow that back into the, and then I do the back side of the loop. Again, I'll show you again. In there, come out and back in there with the back side. This will kind of add a little bit more realism to the, it's not, the flag's not floating in space. Now I could take this to another level, and depending on the students, I will. So I'll make this darker so it looks like a shadow. It's in the background. And I can't do all these things, but I'm going to try to just do one super in detail the way I would do it. Okay, so this is kind of a, just by putting a little shadow on there, it will kind of make it look like it's, 3D. I'm all about that 3D thing. So a little bit of shadow here. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll give them a Q-tip so that they can rub it to make it look more smooth in the shading. And I'm just doing the quick version of this. Still don't want to waste people's time. Anyway, so that is the way the flags are done. Like I said, it could be over here on this side. That fold could be over here. It doesn't matter, but I have them practice in the back.